Okay, here I am looking at the two logs for class. On the left here we have the before log, and on the right here we have the after log. These both have blue as the X value, Y as the yellow, and Z as the green. So to start off with, how are the values different between the two logs? So the before log, the values are very large and very spread out. So that had a lot of vibration that was shaking to a large amount. With the after, the logs are less spread out and the values are a lot smaller with them. So how much do they differ? So I went through and I looked at the peak of each color on both of the graphs and calculated the difference between them. I figured that was a good way to find the difference instead of trying to like find the middle of each of them. So with the before, the X value, which is the blue one, it peaked right here-ish. It's kind of hard to see on here, but it peaked right here with a value of 23. So as you can see, this is 20 right here. So that's about 23. And then with the after log, it peaked over here at the end with this value that's just below this 12, and it told me that the value was actually 11. So the difference between the X values is about 12. So this one's X value peaked at double the after X values peak. For the Y, just here, its peak is here, which is above this 50 mark. As you can see, it scales up to 50. And it said it peaked at about 55, a little bit more than 55. Where with the after bin, as you can see, the scale only goes up to 15. I think this one was the peak, if I remember right, and that was at 18. So it peaked at 18. So the difference between them was 37. And then with the Z value, it peaked, I think it was either right here or right here. These two are very similar when I looked at both of them. And that value was, as you can see, this is 70, so it's just above that. It was at 71 when I looked at it closer. And over here, with this Z value, it only goes up to 35 on the scale here, so it's a lot smaller. I do believe this one was the peak for it, and that was at 37. And so the difference between the Z values was about 34 units. I'm not actually sure what they're measured in, but yeah, so their difference was 34. So how they compare to the recommended, so the before on this one, the X value is within the recommended because it hovers around 15 a lot, and then it peaks up at 23, which is fine. But the Y value, it hovers around 30, which should be the max that it's at, and it peaks up at like 55, which is a lot higher than what is recommended. And with the Z value, it's hovering pretty much above the 30 mark the whole time, and then peaks up here at 77. So it's a lot higher than the recommended on the website. Where with the after bin, the X hovers way lower. It's chilling around like 4 or 5-ish the whole time, and then it peaks up here at 11. So it is well within parameters. It's looking very good for the X. For the Y on the after, it's chilling around here at 15, 10, 15, which is like what they said it should be hanging out at. And then it peaks at 18, which is well below the 30 that they said the max peak should be at. So it is good. And then with the Z, The Z chills up here around like 25-ish, goes around 30 a few times. So it's within parameters, but it's pushing the high side, and then its peak is at 37, which is above what they said the max should be on any of them. So the Z value could still be like wrangled in a bit more and stabilized a bit more to get some of that vibration out. Overall, I thought it was really cool looking at these. I thought it was interesting that the second one actually goes into altitude hold mode, but that isn't where the like peak problem is. While it's in altitude hold mode, it keeps itself pretty level. And then stabilized mode here at the beginning is where the Z value peaks out of 30 for the most part. So I thought that was interesting to look at. But yeah, it's cool to see how you can tweak it and bring it within parameters a lot more and keep it from vibrating a lot. Yeah,